Hi, my name is Samantha Lynn, and I am doing my IB individual oral presentation on The Great Gatsby.
I love her.
When you think of the word time and the concept of time, what kind of thoughts tend to flow through your head? When I think back to the reference to time, I think of traveling back in time. During a particular time period, many of us have thought that if we had a time machine present for us, we could go back in time to correct our careless and senseless mistakes. This impeccable feeling is a conception of what The Great Gatsby is about. Gatsby would always tend to refer back to the topic of time. He wanted to rewind himself back into the past so that he could continue his life just as it was back then with Daisy. Every weekend, Gatsby would throw largely magnificent parties for Daisy, wishing that he would one day see her again. But Nick tells him that he cannot repeat the past. However, Gatsby still denies this. On page 116, Nick says, "I wouldn't ask too much of her," I ventured. "You can't repeat the past." Whereas Gatsby replies with, "Can't repeat the past," he cried incredulously. "Why, of course you can." He looked around him wildly, as if the past were lurking here in the shadow of his house, just out of reach of his hand. And here's a never-before-seen clip of Gatsby and Nick having their own conversation about repeating the past.
Jay, you can't repeat the past.
Can't repeat the past.
No.
Well, of course you can, old sport. Of course you can. On page 86, Gatsby experiences the death of time when he feels nervous around Daisy and accidentally knocks over a clock on the mantel. The line states, "Luckily, the clock took this moment to tilt dangerously at the pressure of his head, whereupon he turned and caught it with trembling fingers and set it back in place. Then he sat down, rigidly, his elbow on the arm of the sofa and his chin in his hand. Sorry about the clock," he said. The incident of the falling clock is a metaphor for Gatsby trying to recapture his past once again with Daisy. Here's a scene from the movie of The Great Gatsby that shows Gatsby knocking over the clock while having his tea party with Daisy.
We've met before. Have someone come prepare this immediately.
As you can see in the previous scene, Gatsby tries to make everything perfect for the arrival of Daisy, but time could not oblige with what Gatsby had in mind. It was seen that Gatsby resting on the clock applied force upon the object. This therefore represents Gatsby's pressure with the time he has to make Daisy his. Watching Gatsby clumsily catching the clock shows how recapturing his past with Daisy is quite fragile for him. Not only does he want to repeat the past, but he also wants to erase time from not only his life, but from Daisy's life as well. Gatsby wants Daisy to erase the years that she has spent with Tom. He wants her to tell Tom that she has never loved him. Whereas for Gatsby, he wants to erase the time that he has spent during the war. Also, he wants to erase the time that he has spent at Oxford University as well. Although Daisy does not like Tom sneaking around with another woman, she, however, still sneaks around with Gatsby. This shows how Daisy does not get over the past, since she still tries to relight the history of love that she once had with Gatsby.
I don't want to go home.
How does time unveil characters? Time unveils characters since people may not be what they seem to be in the beginning. Throughout the process of time, they will surely begin to express and expose their true self. In the beginning, Daisy is to be described in an elegant white dress. The color white represents purity, so Daisy was seen to be innocent and modest. However, as time progressed, we see that Daisy only cares about the riches that she is offered. Another example is when Gatsby lets Daisy drive his car, but unfortunately she runs over Myrtle and kills her instantly. However, Daisy panics, doesn't stop, and quickly speeds away. After the incident, she lets Gatsby take the blame for the death of Myrtle.
The knot is slipping, love is blindness.
How does recapturing the past express the motif of time? Recapturing the past expresses a motif of time in the novel because Gatsby is too stubborn to accept the fact that he cannot repeat the past. Therefore, he tries everything in his will to repeat it. But in the end, he will never be able to regain the history of love that he once cherished with Daisy. What is the importance of time and its effect on literature? Time is important in literature because time is a common theme that can also be manipulated. Time is a reflection of the surroundings that it is written in. Additionally, time helps the audience understand what events were happening during that particular moment. It also helps us understand the different types of attitudes that people exhibited in a specific area since we are able to understand the characters. The reason why we are able to understand the characters is because we are aware of the time period that they are originally from. What is time's significance in the story and in life? In the story, time does not change Gatsby's feelings for Daisy. However, the situation changes throughout time. It changes because Daisy loves and has somebody new in her life. On the other hand, time is significant to life because it relates to the matter of life. The importance of time in life is applicable to everybody since it shows us that we can never rewind the past. The only possible course of action we have is to accept the unbearable occurrence. In the novel, seasons played a role in time as well. When Nick moved to West Egg during the spring, it represented a fresh new start. On the other hand, when it came to the summertime, there were plenty of heated discussions and disagreements between Tom and Gatsby. Overall, we can see that time cannot be stopped for anybody, no matter who you are or what you do, or how hard you try to change time. It is impossible to do so. It is also seen that throughout the novel, characters revealed their true intentions and their actual selves. Additionally, seasons played a role as well since events were led up during particular periods of time. When Nick moved to West Egg in the spring, there was a fresh and relieving atmosphere around the time period. And during the summer, when it was hot and steamy, there were scorching arguments between Gatsby and Tom. And this concludes my IB individual oral presentation on The Great Gatsby. Thank you.